All right, Busco at West Noble, an NECC game. I kind of wanted to put it on the board to talk about because I think West Noble's had a below-the-radar, very solid season with Monte Mayhorter as coach. They clinched the NECC Big Division crown last week, their first division crown since 2005. So as far as this game goes, what can you say about West Noble going in to face a team like Busco?
It's kind of strength against strength. You know, West Noble loves to run the football. Guys, you know, they got two guys that have run for a total of 18 touchdowns, and Bradley Martin and Levi Nelson. I mean, two guys that are really the strength of their team. And you look at Churubusco, who likes to run the ball as well. So, West Noble, like you mentioned, they just continue to win games in a similar fashion. They just, grind out yards and running as teams. And the NECC, sometimes that's all you need because a lot of teams really struggle up front with the physicality. So if you have a physical offensive line, a big offensive line that can push guys off the line of scrimmage, then you got a good chance of winning a fair amount of games in that conference.
And Busco's kind of had an interesting season because they're 3-1 in the NECC small school division, but 4-3 overall. So how do they get things rolling? Because again, like with a lot of these teams, at this point, you're gearing up for the playoffs.
Yeah. It's been so tough to figure out Busco because we're so used to seeing them pile up 7, 8, 9 wins a year in the regular season, or at least going to that late part of the season playing Fairfield and Lakeland with the NECC title on the line. So it's a little different this year in that we're really not used to seeing Busco kind of struggle in the middle part of the season like they did, but I think some teams that are usually up or down in that conference, you look at like Lakeland and Fairfield, and some teams that are usually down or up, like West Noble. So, Busco just, they won 3 straight. They just need to continue to do what they've been doing in terms of their fundamentals, but a big challenge on West Noble on Friday. So is Busco turned the corner with these recent wins, or has it been a byproduct of the schedule? I think we find out Friday night.
It's funny that you mentioned how topsy-turvy the NECC has been, because I was thinking about that before we came on. Central Noble's got a tough team this year. We're not used to seeing that year in and year out. West Noble's at the top. Eastside's having a fantastic year. We kind of thought Garrett would come in and maybe run this conference or at least be in the conversation, but really those are kind of the teams that are making the headlines right now.
And I'll be guilty of it. I said Garrett would come in and just, really show the NECC really what Railroader football is all about. They left, went to the AC and came back, but Garrett just really has kind of spun the wheels, so to speak, as a Railroader reference. Look at that.
There you go. That's why they pay you the big dollar.
Garrett is just kind of, we've been waiting. Okay, they're going to get going, and yet here we are, week 8, and they're still kind of trying to figure it out. So it has been a really upside down kind of season in the NECC.
And Lakeland and Fairfield, we're used to these teams competing for a conference championship every year.
Yeah, definitely. And then they're down there in the middle of the pack. So it's kind of weird. When you look at the games each week and you kind of pencil in Busco, pencil in Lakeland, pencil in Fairfield, you really can't do it this year.
All right. Well, any other things that you're looking forward to about Week 8?
Totem pole is a Northside grad. It's kind of talking to Coach Hall before the Lures game on Friday night. Kind of like as a fan, as an alum, going, what's going on, man? But, he says just those 2 losses, Bishop DeWanger and Wayne, the 1-point losses. Yeah. And with a young team, I mean, just the things, you're dealing with high school kids, and just if they could have gotten one of those, it really would have helped out the locker room and the emotions of those kids. And it's just kind of like piled up one after another. And they played pretty well against Lures last week. But totem pole, I mean, a lost season, I kind of guess, for Northside, but if they can put another tab on the totem pole, it'll help them out. So.
Yeah, definitely, especially as far as the playoffs loom, and that's certainly what a lot of teams are gearing up for. But the SAC championship, I mean, it is up for grabs the next couple of weeks. Snyder's got a couple tough ones.
That's a beautiful thing about the SAC.
Yeah, they control their own destiny. They've got the biggest 2 games as far as any team in the area in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think other than that Week 1 game against Snyder and Lures, the big heavyweights of the conference this year have not played until late, so they're just all going to beat up on each other. So if DeWanger can beat Snyder this week and everybody else holds pat and wins the games they're supposed to, it'll be 4 4-1 teams matching up next week in the SAC.
And that will be
crazy.
Yeah, it'll be for a crazy highlight zone. I know you'll have it covered in the News Sentinel all week long, especially in that Saturday edition. But for now, I'm Glenn, he's Justin, and we'll talk next Monday in a Week 9 edition of Inside the Zone.